Hello, everybody. Becky and Aaron here. So, we wanted to talk today about trust, specifically trust in marriage and how vital it is. It's a part of the foundation. I guess basically to kind of define it would be being able to rely on and depend on another person in every situation. That might be at least part of the definition. Um, it's so vital that a husband and wife can, when they commit to one another, when they're taking their marriage vows, and then, of course, they're remembering their marriage vows, that they can maybe grow into a place where they can, without hesitation, trust one another and depend on one another.
Amen.
And it does take work to be a dependable person. I mean, if you say you're going to do something, you really need to do it, because the what's going to happen is if you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, and if you consistently do that, obviously the person is not going to be able to depend on you or trust in you to do what you said you're going to do. So trust applies to being able to trust your spouse, applies to so many different areas in life.
Mm-hmm.
It obviously has to do with your relationship, with your loyalty to one another, with your finances, with raising kids, with dependability for the other person, one or both having a job and being able to bring in an income, um, being able to rely on the other person for a dependable attitude, to be able to lean on somebody when things are hard, when there's, a person has health issues, being able to delegate a part of the responsibility for the household, and things are going to get done, to be able to trust that the other person is going to do their part. It's so easy to, in marriage or in any other part of life, to break that trust. And if you do break it, or if you consistently show that you're not worthy of trust, then it is so hard to repair it and to mend it. It can be done, but it's a lot easier, to just set up that dependability right up front in the beginning, and to maintain that trustworthiness, as far as how you conduct yourself, how you go about life in every area of life. If you know that your spouse is going to do their part, if you know that your spouse is going to be able to do what they said they're going to do, it's so important that you can rely on that and not to feel like you have to do everything yourself. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, you've said it all. I don't know. You've said them all. So
Maybe expound on some of those
maybe
things.
maybe we'll just start giving some examples because I think you covered maybe all of them. I don't know what's left. So we'll just go through some of those things that you just summarized. I think everything. Uh, I don't think there's anything I can add until we start expounding on some of those. So I guess if there's a good place to start, when people get married, I think you're joining together, and I do think even people that have been married a long time, if you're not doing this, I would say consider joining your finances. Um, that is an area where if you can't trust each other with your money, there is a big problem. I mean, and maybe you don't agree with this, but that seems to be when we counsel with people, and even just in the church, if you're not paying your tithes, I mean, if the Lord doesn't have your checkbook, He doesn't have your heart.
Well, let me insert one thing here. Sorry to interrupt, but um, what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. Go ahead, keep
All
going. I'm
right.
sorry, I
So,
didn't interrupt
if
you.
the same goes for in your home, if you don't have each other's pocketbooks, then sometimes that means, or most of the time, at least in our opinion, then the other one doesn't have your heart. And then also you think, well, what are you doing with your money? Well, what are you doing with your money?
That's
I
what I
don't
wanted
know.
to
Did I
comment
have a
on.
bonus? Did I get what What are you shopping for? What are are you taking someone out on a date? I mean, you see how that could trickle into other things.
Well, even thinking of it, this is the thought that I had earlier that totally escaped me. Just thinking of it as her money and his money, that's right off the bat. You're setting up the likelihood that you're not going to trust one another. When you're married, it's our money. It's not whether I go to work or she goes to work or both. It's not, oh, let's split things down the middle. I know people do that. I just strongly disagree with it. This is money that comes into the household, and it's accessible by both of us. And we have to learn how to control our spending, both her and him, to where we can be trusted having access to the money, that we're not going to run off and buy $100,000 car without talking to anybody or
Yes.
something silly like that. If you can't afford to buy something, or maybe your finances or your credit is stretched out a bit, you have to know that the other person has enough self-restraint to tell themselves, no, we can't afford that right now. We can't do that. And just to not spend the money if you don't have it.
Not just know it, but trust it.
Yeah.
And that's where the trust comes in. We've heard people say, well, they spend too much. I don't trust them. Well, that's where you two have to work together.
Yeah.
You have to trust each other. And if you break that trust, that's where this gets hairy. And so it isn't just, well, let's throw in the towel, let's separate bank accounts because I can't trust them. That's not the point.
No.
The point is that you're working on this together, and that, get with your pastor and their wife, get with a guidance counselor, a financial counselor. There's a root to that problems, the reason why somebody has got a lack of control when it comes to spending. Mm-hmm. Something happened, maybe they're not even aware of. But don't throw in the towel on this, because the two should become one. And take that with everything that you do. You talked about your time and your attention. If somebody's off running around with their buddies, that makes, you can't trust that they have your best interest at heart, because they don't want to be around you. They don't want to spend time with you. They don't
Mm-hmm.
want to give you any attention. That starts to make you feel not valuable. That's where people start to step outside of the marriage, which is a huge topic on its own. We don't have time that would be a separate one all on its own, but you need to trust that, you want to be there with someone, that you feel that when they're gone, they're there with, that they're behaving themselves, but also that they want to come home and be available to you. You went through the list really too fast. You didn't
Sorry.
You didn't take a breath, but
I didn't, sorry.
Maybe you can remind us of what you said.
Well, along the topic of, a loyalty,
yes, that goes along with what we were just
when
saying.
when you get married, and I know we can't expound on this too much, like Becky said, just because we don't have really the time to do it. But when you commit yourself to one person, as far as intimacy for the rest of your life, you have to really exercise a lot of self-control, not just in what you do, but in how you behave around other people. If she feels like you're not loyal to her, because women have a sense, like a Spider-Man sense, Spider-Woman sense,
It's a
that
sixth sense.
it's they can tell when your eyeballs are wandering around and looking at things and women that you should not be looking at. And you really have to make a covenant with your heart and with your mind that you're not going to look at others because of your love and your value for your wife. Mm-hmm. That you're not going to. You can even step outside the marriage in your imagination.
That's true. Yeah.
And so women and men, let me not put it just on women and men have a real deep insecurity as far as this goes. And if you can take every opportunity every single, even little tiny things that you do and don't do, to build trust, because we're already suspicious. All of us by nature are suspicious. You know, if, like Becky said, if you're outside the home all the time, if you're out running around town and doing this or that, it could be totally innocent, but she's going to wonder a whole lot more, or he's going to wonder a whole lot more if they're not there with you. I mean, you didn't get married to be separate.
Right.
You got married to be married. Being married means you are with one another a majority of the time. You know, you're not roommates. This is your life partner, your spouse, your husband, your wife. And so it's so important that you deal with, this goes for women and men, because I'm assuming women have a problem with lust too, but you have to really guard your affections and your interests, and make sure that you don't allow your eyes and your imagination and your attention to wander and look at another person. If they know that you're going to even check yourself from looking, because they know, because let's be real, when you're out in public, women, mostly women, tend to dress crazy. Like they look crazy. They got clothes plastered on their body to where every curve and everything is just out there. And so you have to have a literal guard with a shield and a sword before your eyes, before your ears, before your heart, so that she knows that when something crazy walks by, you're going to divert your attention to her. I'm looking at you, baby. I want you, baby. I don't want no other crusty mess over there. You know, making sure you're not even looking. If they catch your eyeballs, or if they look over at you, because this is what women will do, if some scandalous other person walks in front of you, dressed like a harlot or whatever, they're going to be looking over at you like, what you going to look at, buddy? You better be looking at me. You better be looking at me.
Because we got eyes in the back of our head.
These are things, and we're being a little silly here, but these are real things that just destroy trust. And if you can, every time that something like this could come across your attention, if you take the time to go way out of your way to make sure you're not looking and paying attention, it's not as if you're going to get caught. It's about, you've made a commitment to yourself. I'm going to be clean. I'm going to be moral. I'm going to be wholesome. I'm going to behave myself as a Christian, and I'm going to behave myself as a husband. Those are two things that prevent you from your eyeballs wandering around town doing all this kind of stuff.
Well, I remember in the airplane, you know, they put the advertisements up, and it'd be like beer, and of course beer, their bathing suits, and you were covering up the screen. I was like, what are you doing? I'm trying to pick a movie out. And I didn't know what he was doing, because that stuff doesn't bother me, but I was like, oh, thank you, babe, you know. Or, you know, there's a bunch of gentlemen's clubs. I don't really think they're gentlemen's clubs, but going down First Avenue in Seattle, and he will go a different way because they like plaster the billboards all along that way. And I was like, why are you going this way? It's the longer way. He would go all the way around. And he was like, because of that. And I didn't realize it. And I appreciated the fact that he would go out of his way to do that. And unbeknownst to me, he had been taking this long route to work all the time. And so just to avoid putting himself in these compromising positions. So I appreciate stuff like that. But women, you know, I know we've focused a lot on men right now, but women, you can put off a flirtatious vibe. And there is such a thing as a close for business. And women, you know what I'm talking about. And so you need to have a close for business sign put out. And
what that means is, I belong to somebody.
Yes.
I am wholly dedicated, mind, body, and soul to one person for the rest of my life. That's it. Door closed.
And that's more than just wearing a wedding ring. And women, you know what I'm talking about. So there's a flirtatious vibe that gets put off, and men can feel that. And they can feel that whether you're standing right next to your husband wearing a wedding ring or not. And so that's one thing that we can build trust when we're with each other, and how we can make sure that we are there for each other. There was another thing when we were talking about money. Make sure that you're not hiding things from each other, hiding your spending. That make sure that you are being completely transparent and honest. So we were talking about time, attention, loyalty, finances.
Yeah, that transparency and not hiding is it's worth spending a few minutes on that, because if they can feel that you're not being totally honest with them and you're not hiding things, you everything in a marriage has to be out in the open. There is no such thing as hiding your past, hiding your present, your finances, hiding little things. If they know that you were, I don't mean to keep harping on this one thing, but it's a big one. If they know that you were unfaithful to a relationship previous to them, they're gonna already have a little bit of mistrust built in you. So if they know that you are holy for them, it's little consistent right decisions where you show the other person they are the most valuable thing in your life. You are going to lay down your time, you're going to lay down your energy, and you're going to set aside some of your own desires and things that you may want, because this is not about you anymore. It's about the team. This is a team effort. It's no longer individual. And when they know, when they can feel and they see by your actions that you are their partner in every, whether you're together or not. If you're at work, you're thinking about her, you're thinking about the marriage, you're thinking about the home, you're thinking about the kids. That's another thing we didn't really touch on, is if your spouse knows that they can rely on you and trust in you to take care of some of the responsibilities when it
Having
comes to raising kids.
Being faithful, going to work, helping support the home, whether that's in the home or outside of the home. Absolutely.
Whether you feel like it or not,
take care of the kids.
You might wake up in the morning and not feel like going to work. Maybe you feel a little sick, but when they see you under the temptation or the duress of not really feeling like it, but you press through that, they're like, oh my God, I can trust him or her. I can depend on, if things get hard, they're going to tough it out. They're going to muscle through. They're going to get out of bed and go to work. Amen. Get up, get out and do something. That's from the 90s, one of those songs there.
And even if you are a stay-at-home mom or dad, you don't really feel like it, but the house is clean. It's taken care of. Things are handled. There's groceries in the refrigerator. You haven't been sitting in front of the TV eating bonbons all day while the house is on fire. Just making sure that you guys are taking care of your part of the responsibility. You can be trustworthy, that you're a functioning part of the unit.
You're interested in doing your part. You're willing to be responsible for your part. All those things build trust.
Trust is so pivotal.
If one person feels like they have to do everything and they cannot rely on the other person to do even one simple little thing, it shows that the other person has no interest, no value, no desire to respect and honor the marriage. All those things are just devastating to building this trust. And we start off just being human, being a little bit mistrustful about people. So I would think, I don't know if you agree, but almost the entire marriage, a huge part of it is building trust by little decisions.
I think it's vital. And so I know we've gone kind of long on this one because it is such an important part. And the problem is that if trust gets broken, it is really hard to earn that back. But it is possible. And I don't know if we've lost everybody's attention, but definitely We can talk more about that on building trust back again, but it is all about praying, asking for forgiveness, whether that is getting counsel from maybe a Christian counselor, or going to your ministry if you feel like that they can help you in that, but there's help out there. There's prayer, there's fasting, there's working together. Hopefully, the two of you want to work through it. Don't give up, don't quit. This is, you went down the aisle because you loved each other. And so it's always, 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 best to just keep working at it and praying, 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 because the Lord can give you victory through all these things. But I don't know if you want to continue kind of going through kind of how to find victory in it, but that was kind of my quick version of it.
Yeah, I think we'll probably have to do a separate video on how to forgive and then rebuild trust. That sounds like its own video on its own. So yeah, well, I think we'll probably wrap this one up. But it's vital to work on these things, and it's worth it. And you just have to have enough interest in your marriage to put forth the action. Trust is more about action. It's not really about feelings. If you put your dependability into visible action, then the other person, no matter how they feel about this, that, or the other, they're going to see your actions, which speak so loud. Because you can say, "Oh, just trust me. Just trust me." That means nothing.
Nada.
Like, no, if you have to say it, you probably don't deserve it. Like, just by your actions without any words, you're either going to have their trust or not. It's an action word, not a feeling word.
Right, right.
It's the same as love. Love is an action. Love is a choice. It's not a feeling.
Yeah, it's all about doing.
All right. Lord bless everybody. We're going to keep putting these out. Hopefully they are doing something for you and encouraging you. God bless and have a great day.
Bye.